first biggest hurdle we had was trying to get the people to actually like the first product we came up with. So our first product was the spiral hair tie, and nobody had seen it before. And we thought it was a great product, obviously, because it's better for your hair, it's more comfortable, it holds better. But people kept saying, it looks like a telephone cord. This doesn't look like a hair tie, it looks like a telephone cord. We're like, no, but it's really good. And only after people seeing it many times, when we also had a couple of influencers use the product and in the hair and together with the outfit, then suddenly it went from being like, okay, this looks weird, it looks like a telephone cord, to, oh, this product is actually really cool and I want to buy it. So I think that was the first big hurdle. Yeah. Yes, choosing the business partner is very important. I think it's always better to have a business partner than not to have a business partner. But I also know that one of the biggest reasons why companies don't work is because there's a fight between the business partners. So in my case, my business partner was actually my boyfriend at the time. He's not anymore, but we get along really well, so really happy. So yeah, I chose him because he was my boyfriend. It was sort of the easiest person to pick up the phone, call, and talk about our ideas, and we both really wanted to do this project. And I do think because of the relationship that we have today, 12 years later, that this is one of the most important reasons why Invisibobble actually worked and became something successful. I have a difficult time with the word work-life balance because I don't really know what it means, because this is suggestive of that this is work and this is life, and how do you balance it? For me, work and life is sort of, it's the same thing, so it's very fluid, it's very integrated. And I think for me that would be something important that I would choose in my work, that it's something that, yes, of course you have difficult days and days that are not so nice and not so interesting, where you just sort of have to get the work done. But above all, the most important thing for me about work is that it's something that I actually enjoy. So, I mean, now I'm here in Taiwan. I am working, but then at the same time on Sunday we went and ran the half marathon, and we got to eat some local food and experience part of the local culture. It's part of the reason why I'm here on a work trip. Is it work? Is it life? I don't know. At the end of the day, I know that this is something super cool for me and something I really enjoyed. So if you can find a job where all of these things are integrated into each other, that's probably what I would consider the most important thing in work-life balance. So my advice for a young person who's going to start a business, I think it's two things. So number one, what we talked about before, that you pick a really good co-founder or business partner. I think it's really, really tough to start a company by yourself. It's always good to have another person that is eye to eye with you, so not an employee, but really another person that you can discuss things with and that you know is in it with you the full way. That's number one. And then number two, that a lot of people forget, that you really believe in what you're doing. So a company or a brand, at the end of the day, at the beginning is something in your mind. It doesn't exist, right? So a brand is not tangible. The products are, but the brand is not. So the first person that has to believe in that brand is you. And your only job is to make other people also believe in that brand. And that's how people buy into it. And if you yourself don't believe, then how are you going to make other people believe? So you have to be really 100% convinced of what it is you're doing, whether it's a product, a service, I don't know, whatever it is, and convey that then out to the people so that they feel that energy from you and they're also willing to jump on board. So we didn't raise capital. Our business was very cheap, actually, to the time. So you need to imagine, so there was two of us. There was me and Felix. We were 18 years old. We were studying at university in England, and we just had an idea to do a new hair tie. So basically a new hair accessory. And what it cost us in the end was around $4,000 US, we calculated. And we had a little bit of savings. So both of us were ski instructors at the time, and we had some savings from that. And then we said, okay, we're gonna invest a little bit of money to get the first samples. Then we invested a little bit of money to get the logo done. we then also spent money on the online shop. But these things were all relatively cheap, so all of this came out to $4,000. Of course, then you also need to, at some point we founded the company, the entity, which also cost a little bit of money, but we only did that a little bit later on. So with those $4,000, we managed to get the first products. We also placed the first order. And then from $4,000, I think it was $8,000. And then with the $8,000, we bought again, and then it was $15,000. And then it continued like that. So no investors, no external funding, just something we did ourselves, yeah. I think probably a difficult time for us was, so we were the first ones in the market with the spiral-shaped hair ties. So we started in Germany, and then we spread across Europe. And we were really the first to do this offering of 3 little hair ties in a packaging and sold in a nice display. And it was going really well for us. And then next thing we know, there was a lot of competitors, or fake products actually, that came in the market. So there was a lot of fake invisibobble packagings. And then also many companies started bringing in products that looked almost the same. So maybe instead of invisibobble, they were called easy bubble or wobble bubble, or I don't know, all these different kinds of things. And for us, it was like, we made such a big effort to create this brand and bring it into the market, and now all of these guys are really like copying the product one-to-one. And that was a moment, I think, where we thought, okay, this is then the beginning of the end, because the product is easy to copy. It's a relatively cheap product. Yeah, it's not like a car or a computer, which is much more expensive and complicated. So we started using lawyers to say, these guys, they're taking away our intellectual property, they're copying us and so on. And legally, of course, there are things you can do, but in the end, it's really difficult to take everybody else down. But that was then when we realized actually our responsibility is not to take care of everybody who's copying us. If anything, the fact that we are being copied is actually the most important thing, because it means our product is good. The bigger problem we have is if they don't copy us, because then it wasn't cool enough to copy. So then we said, okay, we're going to change our mindset, and instead of getting angry at everybody who's copying us and spending money on lawyers, we will take that energy and say, okay, we have established ourselves as a pioneer in the market, and everybody wants to copy us. So then our biggest responsibility is to come up with the next really cool thing that we launch and that everybody wants to copy. So this is then what we've been doing over the years, always thinking about, okay, what is the next cool product? How do we innovate and create, I don't know, a new version of a claw, or a new version of a headband, or whatever it is that really adds value to people in terms of how it is used or how it feels in the hair or whatever else. And then we didn't look back after that. So I think it was a cool learning. So my mother's from Spain, my father's from Denmark. I grew up in Switzerland. Then I moved to England for university, but I studied together with my boyfriend at the time and co-founder of invisibobble, and he's German. So he's German from Munich, and we thought at the time, of all of the places we can set up a company, maybe Germany makes the most sense. It's a very large and rather powerful country in Europe, and they have a lot of distribution channels for hair care products. So we thought, okay, maybe it's not bad to sit in Munich as the base, and then we can distribute the products throughout Europe from there. How many languages do I speak? So I speak Spanish from my mother. I speak a little bit of Danish, or some Danish because of my father, then English from school and work, German because I live in Germany, and then also a little bit of French because I grew up in Switzerland and I was in school in the French part for a while. Yes, a little bit of everything, but no Chinese yet. Only ni hao, er, san, si, u. So when Felix and I started the company, we were very young. We were 18, and then when we started selling our brand to different customers, we were 19. And I think we probably looked like we were 14. So we looked very young. And so we would go and meet these, whether it was distributors or retailers or whatever, we would walk in and show our products. And then always the first reaction from the people we were having the meeting with was, "Oh, but you look so young. How old are you?" And then we're like, "Ah, yeah, we're 19." And then they're like, 19? You're younger than my child. And we're like, "Oh, yeah, but you know, we want to talk about business." And then people were so shocked by the fact that we were 19, and we said, oh, "Okay, 19 sounds so young because there's a 1 in front. Why don't we put a 2 in front? You know, if someone says they're 25, that's not so young anymore." We're like, "Okay, but we cannot jump from 19 to 25." So then we said, "Okay, we're just going to say from now on that we're 22, because that sounds like appropriate." So then for like a good year, we were walking around saying, "Oh yeah, we're 22," and then people would say, "Ah, you look so young." Like, "Yeah, we're 22." It's like, okay, you know, that's okay. And then that helped us a lot with business, because then they didn't think about how young we were anymore, and were more interested in buying our products and putting them in their shops. Yeah.